The month of May is going by way too fast, and the Los Angeles Rams are slowly being structured to start the new season at a high level. I want to talk about something interesting regarding the defense, and many people see this as something exciting. Well, the truth is, this could shape the future of the defense in a much bigger way than many imagine. While everyone has been focusing on the offense lately, the Rams front office is quietly keeping an eye on a position that still seems uncertain: cornerback. And after some breaking news around the NFL, several veteran names are now available and could completely change the roster for next season. Man, the last Super Bowl the Rams won was on February 13th, 2022. I really hope that happens again this coming season. If you want to see that too, hit the like button on this video and comment this: "Go Rams! I want to see you guys in the Super Bowl." My son is already 4 years old, and he would be so happy to see that happen. All right, enough wasting time, let's get to what matters. The big news here is Kenny Moore, and honestly, this is one of the most interesting veteran options the Rams could realistically pursue right now. After being released by the Indianapolis Colts, Kenny Moore suddenly became available, and while some people around the league are acting like he's finished, that's not the full story. The reality is that Kenny Moore has been one of the best slot cornerbacks in football for years. There was a point when he was legitimately considered one of the best slot defenders in the entire NFL. Even last season, despite some inconsistency, he still showed flashes of being a very productive defender. He finished with 6 pass breakups and continued to be an important player in Indianapolis. But what really stands out is the kind of physical football he has played throughout his career. Go back a few seasons, and you'll see why this guy still has value. In one season, he recorded 7 pass breakups and 3 interceptions. In another year, he totaled 93 tackles, including 8 tackles for loss, while also continuing to contribute in coverage with 3 more interceptions. That says something very important about his style of play. Kenny Moore isn't just a coverage cornerback. He's physical. He attacks the run game. He plays with energy. He understands angles. He reads plays quickly. And for a Rams defense looking for versatility under Chris Shula, those traits are essential. And here's the key point many fans are ignoring right now. The Rams don't necessarily need another superstar starter at cornerback. What they need is security. They need reliable depth, because when injuries start hitting during the season, things can spiral out of control quickly if the secondary isn't prepared. The Rams already made important moves by bringing in Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson from Kansas City. Those additions clearly show what the coaching staff is looking for on defense. They want cornerbacks who fit the aggressive identity Sean McVay and Chris Shula are building. But even with those reinforcements, there are still concerns about how thin the locker room could become if injuries happen. That's the point fans really need to pay attention to. Kobe Durant is gone. Akello Witherspoon is gone. And suddenly, the margin for error gets dangerously small. Right now, if one injury happens in the nickel spot, the Rams are suddenly asking players further down the depth chart to handle major responsibilities against some of the best receivers in football. That's not ideal for a team trying to compete for a Super Bowl. And honestly, this feels exactly like the kind of move Les Snead likes making. Veteran player, affordable contract, experienced leadership, strong football IQ, scheme flexibility. Those are the types of additions the Rams front office loves when trying to complete a roster. But Kenny Moore isn't the only name generating buzz right now. One name that fans keep throwing around is Trayvon Diggs. And look, there's no denying the name recognition. Everybody remembers the interceptions. Everybody remembers the flashy moments in Dallas. But if we're being honest about where he is right now as a player, there are some serious concerns. Last season was rough, really rough. Injuries completely derailed his momentum, and when he did get on the field, opposing quarterbacks absolutely attacked him. He allowed a completion percentage over 76% into his coverage, gave up 286 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the quarterback rating against him was an almost unbelievable 157.2. For perspective, a perfect passer rating is 158.3. That means offenses were basically having perfect efficiency whenever targeting him. That's not just struggling. That's catastrophic for a cornerback. And this is where the Rams have to be extremely careful. Cornerback is one of the most physically demanding positions in football. Once injuries begin stacking up, sometimes athleticism disappears quickly. Explosiveness matters. Recovery speed matters. Change of direction matters. And unfortunately for Diggs, it just hasn't looked the same recently. That's why there's a growing belief that the Rams may completely avoid that risk altogether. Because while the upside sounds exciting on paper, the recent production simply doesn't justify the gamble. Especially for a team that needs reliability more than headlines right now. Now, there's another veteran name quietly sitting on the market that honestly makes a lot more sense for Los Angeles, and that's Rasul Douglas. This one feels very interesting. Rasul Douglas may not have the superstar reputation of some other corners, but the guy is still playing solid football. Last season with Miami, despite playing on a struggling defense, he managed to stand out with 13 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and a quarterback rating allowed of just 72.6 into his coverage. That's a massive difference compared to some of the other available veterans. And here's why this fit makes so much sense for the Rams specifically. In Miami, Douglas had to handle a much larger workload. He was asked to deal with difficult assignments constantly. In Los Angeles, that pressure would be significantly reduced. Instead of being forced into every high-leverage matchup, he could rotate situationally, stay fresh, and attack favorable assignments. That could actually allow him to play even better football than he did last season. Plus, there's something the Rams coaching staff values heavily: veterans who understand multiple systems and can adapt quickly. Douglas has played for several organizations throughout his career: Green Bay, Buffalo, Miami. He's seen different schemes and different responsibilities. That experience becomes incredibly valuable inside a young defensive room. And then there's the Latimore conversation. This is where things get complicated. Because years ago, Latimore was one of the best corners in football. Nobody debates that. But the current version of Latimore comes with major red flags. He suffered a torn ACL last season, he's now 32 years old, and there are serious concerns about whether his body can still hold up at a high level. On top of that, his performance last season with Washington simply wasn't good enough. And when you combine declining play with a major injury and off-field concerns following his arrest earlier this year, it becomes harder to imagine the Rams wanting to bring that situation into the locker room. Sean McVay has built a culture that prioritizes chemistry, accountability, and stability. The Rams are very selective about the personalities they bring into this organization. That matters, especially for a team trying to make another serious Super Bowl push. And honestly, that's why this entire conversation about corner depth feels so important right now. The Rams already have talent. They already improved the secondary significantly this offseason. But championship teams don't just rely on starters. They survive because they have answers when adversity hits. That's exactly why these veteran discussions matter more than some fans realize. So now the big question becomes this: if the Rams add one more veteran corner before the season begins, who should it be? Kenny Moore for the versatility? Rasul Douglas for the consistency? Or do you think the Rams should avoid all these veterans entirely and trust the young players already on the roster? What do you think, Rams fans? One of the biggest headlines right now is the announcement that the Rams will officially open the season against the San Francisco 49ers in Australia. And this isn't just another regular season game. This matchup is getting the full spotlight treatment from the NFL. The game will be streamed globally on Netflix, putting the Rams front and center for football fans around the world. That alone tells you how the league currently views this team. The NFL understands that the Rams are once again becoming one of the marquee franchises in football. And honestly, when you look at this schedule, it's impossible not to get excited. The Rams are set to face an absolutely loaded list of opponents, including the Cowboys, Packers, Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, Buccaneers, Seahawks, and 49ers. These are the types of games that define seasons and create playoff atmospheres before December even arrives. It also explains why many people believe Los Angeles could receive 5 or even 6 primetime games this season. But maybe the most intriguing storyline is what happened with Sean McVay during draft night. Fans immediately noticed that McVay looked unusually frustrated and disconnected compared to his normal energetic personality. Now, new reports suggest there was some kind of volatile situation happening behind the scenes before the press conference even started. While details still remain unknown, it's clear something bothered McVay that night. The interesting part is that despite the tension, McVay quickly returned to his normal self the following day, which shows how locked in he is on preparing this team for another championship run. There's also growing excitement around Blake Corum, who many now believe could become one of the breakout stars of the season. The numbers are honestly impressive. Corum ranked among the league leaders in yards per carry, success rate, and forced missed tackles, while also protecting the football at an elite level with just 1 fumble in 2 years. The Rams may finally have a true 1-2 punch in the backfield again, something fans haven't really seen since the Todd Gurley and C.J. Anderson days. Everything about this team feels different right now. The roster looks deeper, the expectations are growing, and nationally, the Rams are starting to regain that dangerous reputation that made them Super Bowl contenders in previous seasons.